Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way as always as we enjoy the fantastic weather here in Melbourne. I read somewhere the hottest November week in 155 years, and I'm not even sure they kept records for that long. Tonight we're joined by a special guest, not the Minister as planned, as there's a lengthy debate going on in Parliament right now. It's held the Minister up. Tonight we're joined by one of the team from the Victorian Fisheries Authority who looks after communications and social media. You'll meet our special guest very shortly. Also tonight, plenty of snapper and plenty of flathead. Have they made a comeback in the bay or what? All the regular segments and plenty more, so let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave, and I think we can officially tick the box that seasons are no longer relevant. We have cold and hot. That's about it.
It has.
Yeah.
No spring again for that's 2 years in a row.
Throw the seasons out the window. It's just hot or cold.
Although,
I'm not complaining.
Is it
just
flathead season?
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
We've been seeing a lot of flathead.
And some of the biggest flathead we've seen in the bay.
Well, I reckon they're all the same size. We're going to talk about that later on.
All right.
And it's always a big welcome to the man all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelfall. Welcome, Trelly. The introduction
that was
just
drawn out, wasn't it? Yeah. Thank you very much.
One day Donald Trump's going to introduce you, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll make it
and
great
it'll be
again.
Stephen Victor. I can't do a Donald Trump very well.
He'll make us great again, yeah.
Yeah, make Trelly great again. That's after you've had your fall.
That's it.
And our special guest tonight, Lauren Hall, is the social media advisor for the Victorian Fisheries Authority. Welcome, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I tell you what, at short notice too, because we did have the Minister plan, so you're filling big shoes tonight, Lauren.
I certainly
don't get too nervous about that.
No pressure.
But anyway, you're going to have to explain everything the Minister was going to tell us. Right, only joking. It's all good.
I'll leave that to her.
Lauren, how long have you been working for Fisheries?
So it's been about 7 months now, actually. So I started in April. Yeah.
Where do you get a job as social media advisor? Because I reckon there's quite a lot of kids at home going, and they're on their Facebook. They just looked up at the TV screen going, what? I can get paid for doing this. How do you get a job doing that?
Yeah, well, it sort of came up by chance. I actually started off doing marine science. I did a Masters of Marine Science and Management.
Didn't pass, eh?
Oh, well, I just decided to take a different route. Yeah, so I was going to go the research path and then decided I think it's more worthwhile, communicating to a wider audience. And the best way to do that is actually through social media these days. I mean, everyone's on Facebook now and Instagram or all of them. Yeah.
What's the most favourite part of your job?
So, I love the people I work with. It's a really great team. We get along really well and we have a lot of fun. Yeah. And also just, it's great. It's not always just an office job. I mean, I go out and about. Sometimes I go to the Marine Centre down at Queenscliff. Sometimes I'm at Snobs Creek Hatchery. Yeah, so...
You're at the trout conference the other week?
Yeah, I was at a trout conference. Yeah, there's always something different going on.
Snapping away, I see you.
Yep, and taking photos at events and that sort of thing, so...
Plenty to talk about with Lauren tonight, but let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home first. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Now, to kick it off, I'm pretty sure Don Newman, who we often talk about because he writes into the show quite often, but I thought Don only had one son, but his son here... he caught a 3.2 kilo snapper off Coronella. 76-year-old Ken. I think we might show Ken in a minute. Yep, there you go.
There you go.
76-year-old Ken, who, rumour has it, he is Don Newman's son at 76 years of age, got a 3.2 kilo snapper. The good thing about that, I got a feeling that was Ken's very first snapper. How good is that?
Really? There you go.
Wow.
Nice.
Great stuff.
Nice.
Good
I mean,
fish
that's
too.
really an abused childhood, isn't it, if you haven't caught a snapper at that age?
76. Oh, dear. Don's going to shoot me too. Okay, let's keep moving along. The snapper in Western Port have been fantastic. Have a look at this model. Liam Smith got out and got a 6.27 kilo snapper off Warneet, just
model.
outside the channel. Thank you very much.
Don't have to go far.
No.
Don't have to go far at all.
That's an angry looking fish. Have a look at the face on it. We've got a few angry looking fish, haven't we?
I think he's looking at the fillet knife.
Yeah, I don't like you. It is not only the snapper that are in Western Port, it is also the beautiful fish of a gummy shark. Paul Gadd got a beautiful one in off reel, sorry. Have a look at this for a gummy shark. No.
That is the weirdest looking gummy shark I've ever seen.
Both of them.
All right, so I was out of order. Mackenzie Thomas. No, I was just saying.
It's good to see the boys in the control room are backing us up, Dave.
I was just saying how good is the snapper off reel that Mackenzie Thomas got.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's move on. Paul Gadd, he got a nice gummy shark off reel as well. Have a look at
There
that.
we go.
There's some good gummies going around in both Port Phillip and Western Port. But that's a cracker.
That's a serious
of a fish.
gummy
That
shark.
is,
that
yeah.
one.
Now, Paul was out there. He was trying to catch snapper that day, and
Yeah.
he was rewarded with a second prize of gummy shark.
Second
That's
prize.
a terrible second prize, isn't it? This one, I got a note from Brendan. Brendan writes to us, I'd like to enter this photo into Catch the Week. This is my father-in-law, Paul Gauchi, who I've been taking out fishing for the last 5 years, over 20 trips, and have not been able to catch a fish while he's on board. It became known as the father-in-law curse amongst our family, as when I go out fishing with anyone else, he catches fish. Well, anyway, the curse has been broken. Our bag limit of snapper to 5 kilos out off Williamstown last Wednesday. And as you can see in the photo, it made him very happy. Well done, Paul. You've broken
Nice
the
pair.
That's it.
father-in-law curse.
The monkey's off his back.
That is good. Now, not only did Paul get a nice snapper up that end of the bay, but have a look at Eddie Vella got a 7.6 kilo snapper off our toner, and that is a lovely fish, Eddie. Well done. Good looking fish too for that top
Biggest
end.
one of the night.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You reckon he jibbed on the weight? Doesn't look that big, does it?
And Eddie is he's the head of the mafia over at Altona, and Trelly's shop is at Laverton.
That's right.
What's the address?
He'll send you a new set of
Yeah,
scales.
Little Boundary Road.
Yeah, they weigh concrete boots in the scales.
Yeah, and they're Maltese. Not that that's roses, doesn't it? Yeah, Maltese background.
I tell you what, this is a sign, I reckon, of things to come, because we always see this great run of bigger fish, but then you get the schoolies, the smaller fish coming through. And Paul Hamer from down at Queenscliff will say that there is a big group of 2 to 3 kilo fish coming through. Now, we haven't seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
The first I saw of it was, well, I'm not sure whether it was caught at the fish market or not, but Travis Dowling got a 2 kilo, or about a 1.8 kilo.
yes. Heard
So,
about this.
I mean, no, yeah, well, he only got it during the week, but Travis, you know, if anyone's going to catch a small snapper, it's Travis.
Yep.
And he did get one. But also Samantha Wilberforce got a couple of, or in fact 3 beautiful pinky snapper. And I wouldn't say they're small. I mean,
No,
good.
they're probably
Yeah,
the
good one.
best eating size.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Because
I
you
was
can
gonna say that.
scale them, gut them, and have them whole. You
Yep.
can't do that with the big one because it doesn't fit in the pan or the Weber. So
That's it.
perfect. But well done, Samantha. You need to get out with the stepfather more often and just enjoy your fishing. Send us in your photos. You'll be on Talking Fishing every week. There you go. Peter King. Now, this is what we're talking
Kingy.
about. Yeah, Kingy. This is what we were talking about earlier on. The flathead have made a comeback.
Beach too.
Now-
Good fish.
Peter King, he got a 45 centimetre flathead off Werribee South Beach. Can you tell me, is there a Werribee North Beach? Because if it is, it'd be like in Darwin, wouldn't it?
Well, I think- I
North
think-
of Werribee is Darwin.
I think he's heading to it, wasn't he?
But why do they have Werribee South Beach? Because if
no
it was
Werribee
Werribee North, the nearest beach to the north of Werribee is Darwin. I was having a look at it on the map today. It'd be a long drive.
That's all
Imagine
that
if you
was.
said by accident, sorry love, I'm going out fishing to Werribee North. If I'm not back by 4, then you send a search party and it takes you
I think
5 days to get there.
I think he'd send it to the sewage farm, Werribee North.
Talking to Flathead, the Turidan, in fact, I've got a note here from Steve. Turidan Angling Club held a snapper comp this weekend. Few members landed some nice fish from Port Phillip Bay, but they also caught a number of big flathead.
I was gonna say, did someone
members
not-
fished
yeah.
deep
not
off
tell the
Mornington,
members it
which
was a
produced
snapper
most
comp?
of the fish. Have a look at that now.
Wrong bait.
Now tell me, old mate that was in the first one from Werribee South, and these guys, I mean, these fish all look like the same year class.
Yeah.
Have we got a big run of flathead that are all I don't know what age they'd be. Have to ask Paul Hamer or Corey Green or someone like that. But
They looked about 45, them blokes.
Yeah.
hey,
They looked
blokes.
about 45, them blokes.
Well, Trelly, down your way. I'm going to ignore your smarty stuff. Have a look at this. Now, I'm not sure if this is his real name. Fez Sepik, because I think he's one of the crew that drinks a lot, when we say the word Tolondo.
The Tolondo boys.
Yeah, I think he's from that crew.
You
but
won't get them in.
Fez,
You might find them in Tolondo.
Tolondo.
now have a look at that. I mean, they are good-looking flathead. Obviously,
fish too.
oceanic water. Good-looking clean fish and pretty good flatheads seen out there in Port Phillip Bay at the moment.
Wouldn't get them in Tolondo.
You wouldn't get them in Toronto, no. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And next on Talking Fishing Fisheries News, and we chat some more with Lauren Hall from the Victorian Fisheries Authority right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And a little bit of news before we go back to talking about fishing with Lauren. The first one is how good's this for a story, boys? The men's shed at Lake Boga. And you see those men's sheds popping up everywhere now, don't you? Which is great for the old timers. And in fact, Don Newman, I think, is the president of Men's Shed Australia.
Oh, really?
or not men, Grandpa's Shed, I think. But anyway, these guys, they built some fish havens as part of the Native Fish Recovery Plan. The 10 fish havens, along with 10 large snag piles, will be installed in the Little Murray River downstream of Little Murray Weir. Was Murray Little or something when you went to school?
It's an offshoot, actually.
Is it of the Murray
runs
River?
parallel and
Okay.
then runs back in.
And they're built to boost native fish populations, including Murray cod golden and silver perch and catfish. The project's being funded through the recreational fishing licence fees, and the fish havens, or cod condos, as some like to call them, will provide the rest area, or a rest area, for fish in high flows and act as a refuge from predators. Native fish also like to use them as spawning sites, and some use them as territorial markers, Trelly.
That's what
There
they
you
do.
go.
So there you go. Well
condo.
done to the boys at the men's shed at Lake Boga.
Excellent.
There's going to be a bit of work done, Lauren, and you're probably, the one that posts all this sort of stuff
Yes.
about handling of Murray cod. We've got some cod fisheries that are developing that are, getting to that metre mark, and Lake Eildon's one of them, but certainly around your area, Trelly, too, you've got big fish, and it is important that, fish are handled well. Now, I believe there's a video being made.
Yes, it is in the process of being made,
Yep.
and you can find out more about it. I think it's going to be shown at our Murray Conference happening in December.
Yeah. We've got some info. It's the next item after this. But with Murray cod handling, the boys have put together, or the boys and the girls. I know Mark Ainsworth, but he is.
He's the genius behind it.
Yeah, I mean he's caught some good cod in his time, and there's no way he's going to share his info at the Murray Conference. He's just a cagey man. But anyway, but they talked a lot of. There's a bit out on the website about how to, I guess, handle big Murray cod. And we've got a few photos here just to go with the presentation, but some of the things like use a soft knotless or rubber landing net, have good gloves when you're handling Murray cod to grip the lower jaw, and it also protects your hands. Avoid lip grips. They are not good for Murray cod. Use long nose pliers to safely remove the hooks. So all these sort of things. Ensure fish length measurers are ready to go. So before you pull that fish out of the water, have things ready to go. Yeah, absolutely. And have your camera ready. If you're going to take a photo, be ready for it. And even jump in the water if you want, just to give that Murray cod. I mean, there's Mark in the water there, and that's a classic picture, isn't it? That you know, if you can get over to the bank and you want your good picture, that is as good a picture as getting a big one out and having the guts hanging over your knee and trying to take a photo of a fish that's actually suffering because it's out of the water.
Yeah, we definitely want to see more of that, more photos in the water with the Murray cod. Yeah.
And this time of year, you dry off in 15 minutes. So a couple of little hints that you know, fish can't breathe out of water, so they need water and time to recover. Keep your cod in the water if you can at all times. There's a whole lot of hints now. I didn't bring the website with me. Go onto your social media, onto the Victorian Fisheries Authority website, and there is a link to the better handling for Murray cod. All the info.
It was only posted yesterday, so it should be still up there.
Nice and fresh. There you go. All right, the Murray Codference, that's the next item, is on very, very shortly. We've got a couple of slides to give you all the details. But rec anglers can learn more about Victoria's Murray cod at the Codference, which is in Shepparton on Sunday, the 10th of December. Fishing guru and TV personality Steve Starling will present the keynote address on the native fish revolution and reflect on his personal journey with our most iconic native fish, the Murray cod. Then you've got Robbie Alexander, you've got John Cahill and Mark Ainsworth, and there's no way Mark's going to give away his secrets because he's a cagey fisherman, but he's a good fisherman. In 2017, the conference presentations will include a whole lot of stuff that you can see there on your screen, including record native fish stocking, how fishing licence fees contribute, and also an update on the National Carp Control Plan. If you want to know where that's at, you must reserve your seat. A bit like the Trout Conference, you need to reserve your seat. Get on to vfa.vic.gov.au/Codference 2017. There you go. Book
And there's a barbecue at Trolleys after that.
Is there?
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Could be a long night.
Very long.
I have a quick question about the hints. You mentioned, and you might be the best to answer this, Charlie, that lip grips were no good. At what point? Is it hanging them, or are they just tearing holes in their face?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
It's when you don't put the lanyard on and you let go. And
It swims off with it.
they swim down the bottom of the river. It's
It's no good for it, is it?
no good for
A bit
them.
like having a bit of chicken stuck in your teeth. Can't get out. No, you don't hang them because that's not good for them for their spine.
But that'd be the same if you're
But it
holding
also, a lip grip does do damage to their jaw. Yeah. Not sure about other species like barron and that sort of stuff. I mean, I think you're Darwin.
I think if you
want with a fish,
if you're careful with a lip grip, honestly, I think if you're careful with a lip grip, with what you're doing is, trying to swim them in bits and pieces. But certainly, gloves are the way to go.
There's some pretty what's the word?
Well, if there's different
innovative things coming. Let me just say some innovative things coming.
Yep.
For tackle shops for cod handling.
Okay.
Let me just say that.
Okay.
Not allowed to give anything away on the show.
You don't, do you?
Like when Hazelwood's going to be reopened, we're not allowed to mention it. Not allowed to mention it. Anyway, Lauren, how does the Victorian Fisheries Authority communicate with anglers now? Like, how do you do it? You're doing that. That's your job. How do you do it?
Yep, so I'm in the Target 1 million team, and as you know, that's the government's $46 million investment into getting more people fishing more often. And part of that is to communicate to the masses, as many people as possible, so not just recreational anglers. We want everyone, kids, women, anyone who's not currently a fisher, we want them involved as well. And the best way to do that is through social media, especially Facebook. Facebook is our biggest platform, so we've got about almost 37,000 followers now.
Yeah.
So it's our big heavy lifter in terms of communications. We don't have to do much to, communicate to the masses and engage people across Victoria, even interstate.
That's innovation in itself, because if you went back, boys, 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Oh no, well, we've been going 3 years, and I think even maybe a year ago, you relied on a media release being sent out, and I don't know how many people that was sent out to, but not many, and it was never picked up by the majors, like say the Herald Sun or a 7, 9, 10 News or whatever, and the people just didn't know what was going on in fisheries management.
Yeah, pretty much.
This has changed the world.
Everyone tells me that all the fisheries news, any new regulation changes or any news in fisheries, they all find out through Facebook. That's what they all tell me. Yeah.
Well, even as a source of information, when we're preparing this show, we go to Facebook now because not everything is published.
The media all goes to us for all their stories now. Yeah. Which is exciting.
Yeah.
So.
And what we're seeing is some of that stuff now makes, like that flathead last week by, what was his name? Wolfie.
Yeah, Wolfie, that's right.
It was discussed on
huge.
3AW with Tom Elliott.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff is really getting out to the people. So you have a fantastic reach, and I know we've got a couple of examples we might put up on the screen now of the reach of some of these stories. Tell us a little bit about the one. Well, the one on the left was about a bust.
Yep. So our enforcement posts do very well. Our audience absolutely love hearing about, us catching out the people doing the wrong thing with fishing and educating anglers. So those always get a lot of reach. I can't quite see, but I think that got over 100,000 reach, just that post alone.
100,608.
There you go. Yeah.
Lauren, do you get the call from the fisheries of saying, Lauren, you need to get down to Lakes Entrance, we've just done a bust and that, can you come down with your camera?
Oh no, nothing like that. Usually, well, that would be exciting. I'd be running all over Victoria if that was the case.
In the chopper.
Usually it's a big team effort. Everyone is sending me their photos. When it happens, I get people calling me, and I work with Mark Amesworth, who's my manager, and he helps me out and sends through the information. We've got a few approval processes too. Yep. It's all about getting the information up there quickly too. So
if someone, say on that bust, and I'm sure you get some cracking comments back.
Oh, we do. They're quite entertaining.
Like hang them or with them or whatever. Do you have to then, book an appointment with the Premier to say, Premier, the people of Victoria would like to hang this person? No. You don't do that?
No, not really. We just...
I said I wouldn't ask you any curly questions today. I'm only joking. You don't need to. So the other one, an interesting one, is about... and this is the fun post, I guess, like the giant crab. We might put that slide up again. No, not that slide, the other slide, the previous one with the giant crab on it.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yep.
And I mean, that went to 95,064 people.
Yeah, we weren't expecting it to be so popular, but I guess it is pretty incrable, and look at the size of it.
Well, I don't think many people would know that those giant crabs are off the Victorian coast.
Actually, I didn't know much about it myself either, that we had such a, we have this giant crab fishery here in Victoria. I had no idea. It's further down towards Tasmania, apparently, but
That's unreal.
If you do a course in marine science, I reckon they probably lighten you on that.
Lauren did a master's and didn't know there was giant crabs off Victoria.
Well, I was up in Coffs Harbour when I did it.
Okay, there you go. You've owned a tackle shop for 28 years and you don't know.
I didn't know,
but anyway, now I think this next slide's a little bit of a bragging rights thing here, Lauren, because you're just showing how you compare to Queensland and New South Wales there, and you're kind of miles ahead.
Yeah, that was last week. So from week to week, it summarises how we're doing, and I'd say 9 out of 10 times we're usually right up there.
The top.
Yeah, which is great to see.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. We're going to show you later on how to follow Victorian Fisheries Authority, but it's just an important part now, I think, of communicating with anglers. So
definitely.
It's a good thing. Up next, product of the week, and we're going to show you how to follow all the info from the Victorian Fisheries Authority on social media right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Hi, David Kramer here. If you love talking fishing, why not get your company involved? Just go to talkingfishing.com.au and click the link to help support the show. Get on board today.
Talking Fishing.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now I want to do something a little bit different for Product of the Week this week, and we're going to have a little debate, which I think is going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to talk Burley for a little bit because there are so many different Burleys on the market now and so many different ways to go about it. But I want to focus on two specifically tonight, and that's your frozen Burley. So we're talking cubed pilchards, we're talking Burley logs, we're talking shredded pilchards, which I want to spend a little bit of time on because I think this potentially changes the game when it comes to burleying. And we're also going to talk about dry pellet-based burleys. So whether you mix them, leave them the way they are, and how you distribute them into the water. Now, I want to have a little bit of fun with this, boys, because, like I said, burley's changed. It's changed a lot, and we're starting to see, I never thought I'd say it, but some exciting products hit the shelves as far as Burley goes. We'll very quickly start with frozen Burley because me personally, this is my go-to. Being someone who spends a bit of time on Port Phillip Bay, I think it's very easy to do, and it's quite, like I said, there's some different things happening at the moment. But we saw on the picture previously, we had a log-based Burley, we've got shredded pilchards, and we've also got the whole block of pillies, which we'll cut up into cubes and throw it that way. Dave, you also spend a bit of time on Port Phillip Bay. You're a frozen Burley man?
I am a frozen Burley man, and I know we haven't got it here, but the 100% pure pilchard. So, to me, pilchard is the Burley. You can have your tuna nuts, you can have your tuna logs and all that. Pilchard I find so important for King George whiting, also for snapper, but I fish for whiting a lot more than any other species, and they just love real pilchard. No doubt about it.
Definitely. Use Burley where you are?
We usually use some old sheep head and hang it up a tree and let the maggots drop into the water for about 3 days and go back and fish. So, yeah, it's fine.
It's
we
all
use
Burley. It's all Burley.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess I said at the top of the segment, shredded pilchards are a little bit of a game changer. And why I think this is because I think with the other Burleys, maybe not so much the logs, but definitely cubing up pilchards is...
Can't add. Look, you said you were going to bring something exciting to the show.
It's very easy to over Burley.
Yeah.
And the whole point of Burley is to attract, not to feed. These shredded pilchards are one of the coolest things I've seen. It looks that good in the packet, you can almost spread it on the toast, a bit of salt and pepper, and that's pretty good.
You could do a toasty. You could do a toasty with that.
Yeah.
Do you want to try one?
Oh, never.
Charlie, would you?
Crack, but,
I mean, you can eat them. It's sashimi grade. But the thing I like about these is the shredding process of a pilchard. And it's very hard. I mean, we've seen, if you look at a pilchard Burley, we've seen cubes. They come into the market about 3 or 4 years ago.
Exactly.
And that's for the lazy fisherman who doesn't want to sit there and cut up his pilchards from a block. Yeah.
And I think the issue...
I've always felt with that is that it's a bit inconsistent. Fishermen get lazy.
Correct.
When they're on the bite, and you're pulling fish in, you've got to continue your Burley, and then you stop cutting them up, you run out of Burley, and the shredded pilchards is a superb way of getting those pilchards almost mushed, but not quite. And the beauty of that is they are vac sealed. So that bag there is vac sealed after the shredder, and that is as fresh as the day the pilchards were caught, I can tell you.
Yeah, and it retains all of the juices, all of the guts, all of the flesh, all of the blood, and that's, I think, the problem we see. Even trying to use pilchards as bait, sometimes it's very hard to keep them fresh, and you're never quite sure where they've been and what they've done. Whereas with this stuff, it doesn't matter because all the goodness is there, the moisture's still there.
Got to
it's
use by date?
sealed. No use by date.
No.
It's about attracting, not feeding, and I think that's a very easy way to go about it, and we've already seen the results with that. So that's an absolute cracker.
Yeah.
Now,
do you know cans of tuna haven't got a use by date on?
Haven't they?
Go to the supermarket, get a can of tuna.
No use by
There's
date.
no use by date.
They'll last forever.
there you go.
That's it.
This pellet-based Burley, I think for snapper in the saltwater that we're talking about, this is something you very commonly see on a charter boat, and I think the reason for that is a hell of a lot cheaper than that stuff. I don't mind it. I
set me pocket knife in my head.
Yeah, so just in case.
On me.
So these, what are they like?
Crunchy.
Is there tuna oil in those ones? I can't remember which ones I bought.
Lauren, he does it all the time.
Yeah.
20%.
20%. So it's probably worth adding a little bit of tuna oil.
Cool.
Is this a pellet-based Burley?
It
Uses the
is.
fresh water a little bit? Or you prefer your dead sheep
There's
head
actually a
nuggets?
freshwater version of that.
With aniseed in it?
With
No
aniseed.
aniseed in that one?
An ultrabite.
Ultrabite. There you go. But pellet-based burley, if you're after a very slow trail, these are a good way to go. It takes a little bit longer to break down than the actual flesh-based stuff.
That's the way Trelly prefers most of his meals.
They also attract trellies.
Milk, but
They also attract trellies. So the great burley debate, I would encourage everyone to jump onto the Talking Fishing Facebook page and tell us, what do you prefer? A pellet-based burley or a frozen burley? And I said my red hot tip is that shredded pilchard is going to change the game as far as burley goes.
Absolutely. I think with the with burley cages being innovative now, and a lot of people using them, that the shredded will be better than some guys for King George whiting, they'll still grab a block of pilchards and they'll crunch them all up in their hands and throw them in a cage, and it doesn't really disperse that well. Whereas this, be able to defrost a little bit, shove it into a cage, burley cage, get it to the bottom, it'll disperse very, very nicely. So anyway,
that's probably what it is. Burley. Get
shredded pilchard. It's just
comes with a toothbrush.
sensational. Alrighty, Lauren, back onto the social media. It's not just Facebook. You have a few other platforms, and I think we've got a bit of a slide up here. Tell us about the different platforms and how you use them.
Okay, so Facebook's obviously our biggest one, with the 37,000 followers, or almost there. And then Instagram. Instagram's a bit different, a bit more. It's a bit softer. We call them softer posts. They're sort of more authentic and fun. Maybe showing some, the fun side of being a fisheries officer, that kind of thing.
Okay.
We have about 3,000 followers on there. We've also just got Twitter only a couple of months ago. I think we're on about 160 followers, but that has, potential for great reach. Sometimes we shared something about Murray cod larvae, and that got, about 32 retweets, which had huge reach. It, went quite fast, so that's pretty good. And
what you need to do with Twitter is get Donald Trump to retweet.
Oh, yes.
If you can get Donald to do it, you will have reach, all right, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And the last one was?
Oh, and we've got Snapchat as well, which you can see on there. If anyone's got Snapchat savvy and they're in the audience, you can screenshot that there and add us automatically, that snap code that's sitting up there.
You what?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
You can point your phone at the TV.
You take a photo of it and it adds us automatically.
No way.
Yeah, so we add that to our site, on our website, so you can screenshot it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. But anyway, so there's the 4 platforms. We did put the little addresses up or under each of those logos, and we will put that up on our social media on Talking Fishing tomorrow if you want to follow Victorian Fisheries Authority, because you can get all the info just like that. Next, coming up on Talking Fishing, Kramer's Mailbag, and we're going to discuss the results of the Women in Fishing survey with Lauren Hall from the Victorian Fisheries Authority right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
A little bit of mailbag we'll get through very, very quickly because we've got some pretty important stuff to talk to you about, Lauren. But the first one is from Adam from Geelong, and he's writing in to say that he has started a petition to request that the Victorian Fisheries Authority stock yellowbelly into Stony Creek Reservoir. There is a petition going, boys. And it's about 25 minutes from Geelong CBD, wants yellowbelly in there. If you get onto change.org.au and somehow find that Victorian Fisheries Authority stock Stony Creek Reservoir with yellowbelly, you'll find it. He's after a whole lot of signatures. I think he wants to rally. You'll probably give him some help through the shop down there.
Exactly, and I think it's a good spot for it. So, be great.
There you go.
Pretty passionate about yellowbelly.
A couple more. Hi there, my name is Albert. I love your show, but can you please show us some hotspots for land-based, because I don't have a boat. We get reminded of this all the time.
Yeah, that's his one.
Why do we keep ignoring them?
Oh, well, you run the show, Dave. I
Charlie and I tell you every week about it, and you just completely ignore us.
And the next one from Healesville. This one, Max.
He's
Max,
land-based.
Oh, Max from Healesville. He goes, "Dear David Kramer," because he spelled it wrong. How did your Cradle Mountain climb go? Well, I didn't climb Cradle Mountain, man. So what happened is I'm going through Healesville, getting a coffee and buying a salad roll at the bakery on my way to the Cathedral Mountain, and the old bloke comes up and goes, "You're Kramer." And anyway, thanks for that, Max.
He made it.
I climbed Cathedral Mountain range very, very well. I went nowhere near Cradle Mountain. Cradle Mountain's in Tasmania.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Might have been Tassie through Healesville.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, but anyway,
Well,
went well,
so.
mate. Thought I had a heart attack on the Monday, but anyway.
Don't be fooled, he only made it halfway.
Now, I'm not going to go any further with Kramer's Mailbag. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
All right, we wanted to follow up on something that we promoted about probably a month or two ago, was a Women in Fishing survey, Lauren, that Victorian Fisheries Authority put out, and the results are in. You guys have got all the results. You had a pretty good response, and we've got some of the stats up on the screen there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a huge response. We were quite surprised how far it reached. But I mean, our audience on Facebook is predominantly male. It's actually 80% male. I think they're in the age group of about 25 to 34. And so I think a lot of them must have tagged their girlfriends or tagged anyone they knew that were female, and it ended up getting quite a lot of reach. And
so 1,389 responses.
It's a good response.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, 93% of them were already fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing though, they're already passionate about the topic, so that's why they were so keen to tell us about, why they fish.
Yep.
Although we're also interested to know about why the ones that don't fish don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
80.8% of respondents go fishing to relax and unwind.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a bit like Mary. She has to unwind fishing because you wind her up all week. Well, she does. Unwind.
Well, that's the thing with ladies fishing. They lay on the front and read a book with
A
a
couple
rod
of
in
other
their hand.
things that were up on your screen there. 28.9% of respondents, though, did not believe there were many challenges, particularly to women. But some of the challenges they did talk about were gender biases,
Yes.
parenting responsibilities, which is hard.
I think that's the biggest one.
Hygiene and cleaning issues, including toileting while you're out fishing, because it's harder for
Yes, that's
woman
right.
than a
You wouldn't
man.
think of it, but
We fixed that the
We
other
had a
week.
good product of the week.
Yeah, that's
Sorted
right.
Dave.
The whizzer.
And personal safety concerns, because it can be a bit scary out there on the big sea. So a few other stats, and we've got a few more slides about how many people currently go fishing.
Yep, so that's just an example of, how many of the women who answered are already fishing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have a look at that little slither there, the nose, how to get those women involved in fishing and what would help them.
Yep.
And I think, is there another slide?
Yeah, the next
Yep,
one.
great.
If you do currently go fishing, who do you go with?
Yes, so the most common response obviously was their partner.
Yep.
And that's where all those responses came from, the partners tagging them in there. And then family, so a family connection really helps, especially if you start at a young age with your dad or your grandfather take you fishing. I think that's one of the most common ways that women, get into it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
Do you think we should call for a plebiscite, Shirley? I won't talk to Lauren about this because it might be politically incorrect, but when it says partner, 62% with their partner,
Yeah.
should we find out whether they were male or female partners?
Well, obviously these
Through
were
a plebiscite?
It was a female
Apparently you can
survey.
get them for under $100 million these days.
Yeah, that's right, bargain.
Yeah. So
but
should we find out if the 62% of partners that went out
Oh.
were male or female
We
through
could
a
do it.
$100 million plebiscite?
we could do it for $20-30, I reckon.
Could be interesting.
All right, keep going. Another slide. Response examples from those that don't fish. Read them out, Lauren.
Yep, so the most typical responses was no time. Most women feel that they're just too busy, especially with
reckon they're too slack
parenting.
anyway.
Parenting would be a big one.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the time, the women, the husbands go out and go for a fish,
There's
and
some other
they're
good
left at
responses
home.
there, though, isn't there?
Yeah. So wouldn't know where to start. A lot of them, just not confident with the equipment.
Yep.
No one shows them how to do it. and also cleaning and gutting a fish. I think a lot of women are a bit put off by that. Yeah.
That's really good. Like a lot of tackle shops will show ladies and kids how to rig up and that type of thing. But if you like, it's a bit like going duck shooting. I mean, you just take the whole duck home to your wife and she'll clean it. I mean, if you bring the fish home to the husband, he'll clean it.
Yeah, I think what would help though is an all-women's group. We're thinking of possibly developing that next year on Facebook, having a group where women can go to, especially if they're on their own, that have someone else who fishes with them. Yeah, so that they have a support group.
But before the show, Lauren, you actually admitted to something that you'd learnt, and when Trelly asked you, if you had any experience in freshwater fishing, you said, well, I've caught a trout at an event. Now, I may have said that's not real fishing, but it really is. No. But, one of the responses there is no opportunities to learn. Now, the Victorian Fisheries Authority do hold those clinics. I know they're for kids.
That's right.
But if the mums go along, they do actually can get some tuition.
And we still
at
had
those
some
events.
adults, including some of our own staff who were women who hadn't done it. So we all learnt ourselves, which is great.
A couple of other things there. A lot of my friends hate fishing, so it's hard to find someone female to go fishing. And I'm too busy supervising the kids while their dad is fishing. Well, perhaps dads need to start recognising that it's a family activity rather than just an all-male dominated thing.
That's right, and that's what we want to promote through all our events, getting the whole family involved. And the interesting thing is our Vic Fish Kids events, which you would have known about with Rex Hunt, actually the gender gap was a lot smaller. So we had about, I think it was 61% were male and 39% were female. Yeah, so in the children, it's a smaller gender gap, which is nice to see.
Interesting. So, where you started talking about what you can do to help increase that, like a women's only group. Where do you think that will head?
We're still in the development stage of it all, but we've had a few meetings and discussions. We might do a campaign next year, similar to what the US do. If you've heard of Take Me Fishing, that kind of thing. Like, we want to really promote it. And I mean, not just women have a women's group, but also family, promote that it's a family thing, and granddads take your granddaughters fishing, that kind of thing, to really get that family connection.
Very good. Plenty more discussion coming up next. This week's Hotspots. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Pretty lucky that the people at home can't hear about what we talk about during the outbreaks, aren't we?
That one wasn't too bad.
Trelly. Hotspots, let's get into it. And Altona has got to be the number one in Port Phillip Bay. That warmer water is up the top. Now, we did get a mailbag about doing land-based, so the fish are going off in about 17 metres off Altona. If you that's going. But if you get yourself a 35-foot surf rod, you will be able to cast out to 17 metres water off if you're land-based. This is for the land-based people. You've got to cast out about, it's probably 2.5 kilometres offshore. If you can get a 35-foot surf rod and cast out to 17 metres off Altona, it's a great spot for snapper right now. Let's head along the eastern seaboard, and Frankston is the capital of snapper right now. Many people are launching at Carrum, but those guys off Oliver's Hill and Cannanock Creek and places like that are absolutely dominating off Frankston at the moment. There's a very good school of fish there.
Fish is still holding pretty deep too, so that 18 metres, 17, 18, 19 metres are still the way. They haven't moved in.
Let's head over to Western Port, and Warneet seems to be the hot spot at the moment. Good old Al down at the boat ramp. He'll put you on the spot, but you don't have to go far out of the channel, as we saw in Catch of the Week. Some beautiful snapper being caught. That one in particular was caught in 6 metres of water just outside the Warneet channel.
And the whiting will start showing up real soon.
I tell you,
real soon.
on a high tide, on a big high tide, you'll have big whiting in the Warneet Channel right now, I reckon. So just not that many people have moved over.
Not yet.
But they're starting to. People are starting to go, snapper have been... They're still finicky, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, we always have great photos and all that, but the snapper are finicky. Get onto the whiting if you want. The other one that people love to hear is silver leaves, which is off Phillip Island. Is absolutely on fire for snapper at the moment.
And when this fires, when silver leaves fires in Western Port, that means the snapper season's full swing. There's no, there's no this in between. It's snapper season. It's on when they're on at silver leaves, and that's happening.
All right, let's head inland to the people that have little tinnies or even land-based people. If you'd like to head to Tulliarook Lake for trout trolley. That was in your report last week.
Tassie Devils, pink number 55. And there's also a clown is actually doing well. Trolled at 3 kilometres per hour. So,
is that for land-based people running along the side? They have to run at 3 kilometres an hour?
It's more of a slow jog.
You sort of throw your cigarette butt over the side and just watch it drift past about, you pick about 3 kilometres an hour.
Environmentally friendly lake, that is, that Tulliarook Lake. And the other one is the Delatite Arm up at Eildon is absolutely on fire for yellow belly now. And we had old mate here last week, Steve Vidler.
Big Steve.
And he said that he doesn't.
No, that was the old days.
But he said to us that the yellow belly were about a month behind.
Exactly.
So we normally get them sort of late October. Well, here we are late November and they're starting to fire.
Yeah, that's right. Biblis lures, look for them on your sounder, pick them up. A lot of times you'll actually pick one up and a bit like your saltwater fishing, you'll get one up to the boat, make sure you've got another lure, drop in the side because they'll bring a few others up with them. So good stuff.
Is that part of their spawning? Is that they follow each other in groups?
Exactly,
or in schools?
And a few of the ones they're catching are cutting and they do a lot of eggs in them. So Eildon, it's really good at Bonnie Doom.
There you go.
Delatite.
There you go. There's your hotspots. A couple of land-based ones there, if you like. Like Altona. Lauren, a couple of interesting things that are going to happen next year. You can touch a little bit on this one. The recruitment of fisheries officers. How many fisheries officers are there in the system in Victoria versus how many of them are female?
So we're hoping to recruit some more female fisheries officers because at the moment I think it's about 10% of female. So we've got about 70 fisheries officers at the moment and I think around 7 are female.
I would have thought that was lower percentage than that. But anyway, if there's 7, there's 7, which is pretty good. What does someone need to do to be a candidate for a fisheries officer?
So it's actually quite a big process and it's all detailed on our website. So if you Google Victorian Fisheries Officer Career, it'll come up. And pretty much, it's good to have a boat licence, be a competent swimmer, that kind of thing. There's quite a few things involved actually. There's a whole web page dedicated to it.
Interesting. So, because, if someone's planning on doing that, they may need to do a bit of study. Whether it's a certificate 4 or 3 or whatever it is, but anyway, that's interesting that all that sort of stuff's up there. So, and you'll be encouraging females to apply.
So if you're in the audience and you're female and you think you might want to become a fisheries officer, so
start planning now.
Start having a think about it. Look at our webpage. Keep an eye on our social media platforms because we'll be keeping everyone updated on there.
Good advice. Charlie, you could even apply for that.
Well, not 140 kilos like some of the fisheries.
You what?
I'm not 140 kilos
like some of the officers.
That's one of the tick box things, is it, for some of them? Anyway.
I'll be on to you next week. Where are you fishing on the weekend, by the way? Have you got a licence?
I'll be up the Murray, probably.
Have you got a licence?
I've got 9 years worth of fishing licences.
Because they're going to pull you
when
over.
it went from $60
they're going to pull you over, Charlie. I can see what's going to happen on the weekend, right?
When it went from $60 to $90.
Excuse me, mate. You got a fishing licence? And did you call me fat?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say under their breath.
Mate, back and sorry, you got a squeaky voice anyway.
Another event that is on next year, and I think we've got a slide to cover this, is the Hooked on Portland event. Tell us about that.
So this is a big one that's happening starting Australia Day. It goes for 3 days down in the tuna capital, Portland. So we've got a big fishing competition, of course, but there's also going to be free live music. The Pierce Brothers.
I know the Pierce Brothers.
Yeah?
They are cool.
Yeah.
Do you know them?
Actually, no, but I just recently looked up the music and I think they're great.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would love to have a hairstyle like these, but I haven't. So, but they are good. They're two young brothers.
Yep.
Their mother's a school teacher.
I'm a little bit worried that you think they're cool. It generally means that.
They're cool. Well, we've got to have someone to
Yeah.
got to have someone to replace Malcolm Young. Yeah. Bit sad about that.
Pierce brothers.
The Pierce brothers. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they're good. Sorry, let's put the slide back up. When's it on? It's Australia Day.
Australia Day.
Doesn't tell you on this slide, but anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't there, but yeah, it goes from 26th, 27th and 28th of January, so keep it free.
Things, kids' activities, cooking demos, markets, twilight cinema, food and drink park. And obviously there'll be a bit of a tuna flavour to the weekend.
I think so, yes.
I would say.
Yes.
I know there's been a bit of talk about this, and a heap of bands and that sort of stuff. What a great little festival.
Yeah. So Hooked on Portland actually has its own Facebook page, and there's an event up there now. So if you follow their page, Hooked on Portland, and we'll be promoting it on ours as well.
Interested in the event or however.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
and save the dates. Yeah.
You'd want to book in, I'd say.
Yeah. And that's right. I mean, if you want to plan that weekend, book in your accommodation and plan to be down there because it still is
busy anyway.
School holidays
right.
and
Australia
busy
Day.
time of year. So that's an interesting conversation we've had tonight on social media because it is a growing activity for all businesses, I think. And
definitely.
And Lauren, thank you for coming in. I know it was short notice. You covered some pretty good topics tonight, and it's just good to hear that not all fisheries staff are 40-year-old or 50-year-old men. So that's all good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for Talking Fishing. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we have another big show for you. And of course, because of the weather, we expect there will be millions of people out fishing, and send us your pics because we want to see them. You could be on Talking Fishing next week. Till we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.